How's it going, everybody? Welcome to Mentor Monday. Mentor Monday is your weekly microdose of encouragement, inspiration, and miracle grow on your potential as a coach. If you do me a huge favor, this is what we do every week. I want to interact with you, so please jump into the chat. Tell us where you're joining us from, what you're excited about. Tonight begins another new series. We have a forward mission statement at Life Coach Training Institute, and it is Proficient Coaches, Thriving Practices. We are really about the only school that emphasizes both. You can't just have coaching proficiency, you actually have to know how to get clients. And so every time that we get together in any of our programs, or even on a freebie like tonight, our end game is always one of those two things. We just finished a series that was 4 weeks long on how to get your first coaching client. I would encourage you to go back in time. If you haven't seen that, you guys who have been around any length of time know that we always do what we say that we're going to do on Monday nights, which is help you in one of those dimensions. Tonight, we're in this new series, we're talking about coaching skills, and specifically coaching people who have a challenge with a fear of success, not fear of failure, fear of success. We'll talk more about that in a minute. If you would, jump inside of the chat widget, and also do me a huge favor. Some of you join me every week. I need you just to do me a huge favor and just like this and share it. It'll take you 1 second just to like this on Facebook or YouTube. That tells Facebook and YouTube that we are doing a good job. I'd really appreciate that. Liz says, I am interested in life coaching. Good to see you, Liz. I see spoken word. I don't see your name, from Maryland. And Miles from San Diego. Stephen joining us from Arkansas. Dan is joining us from Orlando, Elevations Coaching. Great. Liz is actually from Pennsylvania. Kathy's joining us from Ohio. Lauren is joining us from Florida. Paula is joining us from New York. If you guys would, if you have not already, jump inside that chat widget and say hello to us. Also, do me a huge favor. Jump on your phone just really quick, or on whatever device you're on, and just like it. It'll take you all of 1 second to do that. We never fail to deliver. When we say that we're going to do something, we always do. So that lets people know that if you watch this video, Paul's actually going to follow through on what he says that he's going to do, from the title and even the description of the video or the email that you guys got tonight to join us. Let me say, who else do I need to say hello to? Whoop, did something weird there for a second. That's Portia joining us. Good to see you, Portia. Keep those comments coming in. Let us know that you are here. This is the only way that I know. I'm over here in the studio. Only way that I know that you are here is that you say hello to us. Again, take 1 second and like this. You can love it too. You can do a laughing emoji too, I suppose. If you're on Facebook, I'm sure that you have that option. Sheila is joining us from Nashville, Tennessee. Little known fact that I was actually born in Tennessee. I don't know how many of you knew that. Well, now you do. Nothing like that matters to you, but yeah, I'm a Southern boy originally, born in Tennessee and lived a few different places in the South, but Louisiana is actually considered home for me. If you didn't know that, but keep those comments coming in. And what are we talking about this week? Well, this week again, we're starting a brand new series. This new series is really part of something that I like to call the coach's playbook. So every time we make our way back to coaching proficiency, it's always going to be part of the coach's playbook. And if you look on our YouTube, you look on our website, you will see an archive of many, many videos and different series that are all about various playbooks, because you're going to run into clients who have different unique challenges. And so sometimes I like to grab a hold of these and bring them to the surface and talk about them. This is one that I've never actually heard anybody really talk about in any great detail. They might have just kind of skimmed over it. They might have mentioned it, but I've never actually seen a teaching about this before. So when I am teaching you guys this and giving you some tools to help your clients on this, I'm hearing it for the first time in my life. Now, I'm not saying that there's not books and different kinds of things that are out there, because there absolutely is, but I've just never seen anybody teach on it and specifically focus on it with regard to coaching. But one of the things that you are going to find, and this series is going to be about 5 weeks long. Tonight is going to be the first week, which we're just going to kind of intro the concept of the fear of success. And what I'm going to do each week is I'm going to tackle a different component of it and give you some tools and some strategy to be able to help your clients and even help you with this challenge of the fear of success. Because what we might learn tonight is that some of you who are watching right now, whether it's right now is in the present, right now is in the future, some of you might actually be struggling in this area and you may not even realize, but we're going to discover tonight if you actually do have that challenge. Let me say hello to a couple of people who are saying hello to me. Lisa joining us from North Carolina. Charlotte joining us from Illinois. Lauren says, Paul is awesome. I can't say enough great things about it. Is teaching. Thank you. I appreciate that. Christina, who's saying hello. Tanya's joining us from Spokane, Washington. See you there. Dak, good to see you. All right. So let me get this off the screen so it's not obscuring anything, and we will jump in. So I said that I was going to get it off here, but I'm not managing to get it off of there. All right, we're going to try one more time. You can keep those comments coming in, by the way. Let me hide that, and let's jump in. First off, let's give you our working definition of what a fear of success is. But if you want the slides for tonight, text the word slides. Don't text any other words in there. Just text the word slides right now to 833-258-7547. And what you will get is a link to our latest Mentor Monday, which is tonight. Scroll to the bottom of the page and you can hit the download button. I believe it's a green button. You can download the slides that I am going to get to show you, because the slides are also going to have a lot of questions in them. And that way, you can utilize everything that we are giving you with your clients, or you can practice on yourself. So I'm going to give you about 5 more seconds to do that. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Now, let's give you your definition. What is the fear of success? Fear of success is what shows up when you know you're capable, but something in you pulls back. It's not that you don't believe that you can do it. It's that you're afraid of what might change if you actually do. Maybe it'll demand more of you, shake up your relationships, or put you in the spotlight in a way that feels uncomfortable. So you stall, you shrink back, or you just stay busy. And you call it being practical, because success might disrupt, demand, or expose you in some kind of a way. Now, if that's not a good enough definition for you, what we're going to do really quickly is we're going to do a little bit of a quiz. Now, when we do the quiz, what I want you to do is, you don't have to answer it in the chat widget. You can just answer it yourself, but keep track on your end. Each one of these, and if it's a sometimes it's a yes, okay? If this is true at all at any time, then it's true all the time, okay? That's the way we're going to do this. So as we play this survey, just give yourself 1 point if there is a yes, even if it's sometimes, okay? So let's jump in. And we're calling this quiz, Are You Subtly Dodging Success? Because I don't think that this is conscious all the time. You delay big moves until you've just read one more thing, or you figured out a better way. Is that, even if that's true sometimes, give yourself a point. You delay big moves until you've read just one more thing or figured out a better way. All right? That's the first one. Easy enough, right? Number 2, you want to go big, but not that big. This one right here, let me tell you, fear of success, this was a very big ongoing deal in my life. Want to go big, I don't want to go that big. And so if this is true of you, give yourself a point. When you do things others think are remarkable, you can't really receive it because you know you held back some. So in this case, somebody might actually be giving you a compliment. I mean, like, that was amazing. that was incredible or whatever. But there's something in you that can't totally receive it because you knew you held back in some kind of a way. If that's you, even sometimes, give yourself a point. When people compliment your work, you downplay it, you deflect, or you pivot the conversation. If that's you, just even sometimes, give yourself a point. Now, here's the next one. You secretly believe that if you really go all in, people expect you to always be on. This was a major one for my fear of success, just so that we're being real here. Because I always felt like if I shine and I take leadership or I do something and I put myself out there, now everybody's expecting me to always be on and to always have it and to always be like, if I show too much, then people are going to be like, okay, that is the go-to person or whatever. So if this is you, even sometimes give yourself a point. You secretly believe that if you really go all in, people expect you to always be on. All right, here's another one. You've helped others shine while quietly staying in the shadows, and you actually do that on purpose. This one was true of me as well, because I could be helping someone utilizing different skills and kind of helping other people build their dream and work on their dream and leaving mine to the side. And what it allows me to do is to be in plain sight and looking like I'm doing something while at the same time I'm actually avoiding the things that I need to do for my own dream. So if you've helped others shine while quietly staying in the shadows on purpose, give yourself a point. You think somehow if you're a big success, you won't be able to handle it. And when I say that, that could be that you look at yourself and you think that you've got some kind of issues with your character. You think that maybe I'll have an issue with time management. I won't be able to balance my life. I won't be able to be who I need to be for my family. I won't be able to be who I need to be for whoever. Because I know a lot of you are in the care business about other kinds of people, and there's nothing wrong with that. But if this is true for you, even some of the time, give yourself a point. A part of you believes that more success would mean you're going to experience more pressure, more eyes on you and everything that you do, more risk, possibly more judgment, possibly more rejection from people and criticism. If this is you, give yourself a point. You feel torn between wanting to be extraordinary and wanting to stay safe. If that's you, even sometimes give yourself a point. You tell yourself you're still preparing, but deep down, you know you're actually preparing and creating activity to just avoid something. This is a very clever tactic that I see coaches do all the time. Always preparing, always getting ready, always busy, and always in activity. And sometimes you'll hear people say it. You say, "Hey, what are you up to? What are you working on? Or what's going on in your life?" And you sometimes will hear people say, "Oh, busy." But a lot of times they're not, they're kind of staying busy because busyness allows them to hide in plain sight. And bigger than that, busyness gives them an excuse for why they're not putting themselves out there. Now, get total up your points right now. All the points that you got just a bit ago. And if you scored between 0 to 2 points, there's about 10 of those. If you are between 0 to 2 points, I would say open road ahead. Fear of success, probably not your thing. It's still worth checking to see if you've got any blind spots, but you're in range and you're actually good. You can kind of kick back and listen to all of this and figure out how you help your clients. By the way, you can use any of those questions that we just gave you with your clients. If you texted slides, you'll have those in front of you, and you can help clients or friends or family or whatever actually identify this thing that's going on in their life. If you scored between 3 to 5, I'd say you're a soft pedal saboteur. What you're actually doing is that you're riding the brakes without realizing it. And so, really, what that means for you is it's actually time to shift into gear. Now, if you're scoring a little bit higher, between 6 to 8, you are a person who's just hiding in plain sight. You're stuck between potential and paralysis. Success doesn't just scare you, success actually terrifies you. And if you score between 9 or 10, you are the master of self handicapping. You're doing backflips to avoid your own breakthrough. And so we need to help you break this pattern. What are we talking about when I say self handicapping? We're going to talk about that in more detail over the next few weeks. But it's literally when you will do stuff and you will put things in place that put you at some sort of a disadvantage, so that if you don't succeed or you don't hit bat 1,000, if you don't just totally crush it, then you didn't really apply yourself in some kind of a way. But again, we'll talk in more detail about that over the next few weeks. But how big of a problem is this issue of fear of success? Well, in a study that was done some years ago, over 60% of students admitted to using self-handicapping behaviors before major exams, such as procrastination, distraction, almost like intentionally messing up their own time management. And what it allows you to do is to give yourself an excuse if you don't do well. Fear of success, and this is from Harvard. Fear of success can be more paralyzing than fear of failure, because failure is final, but success creates expectation that you have to live up to. This is why it's such a big deal, and it's why so many of us and even our clients are going to be struggling here. A couple of other things: 70% of people who experience imposter syndrome at some point in their career. And this is according to the International Journal of Behavioral Science. Many aren't afraid of failing. They're actually afraid of what will happen if they do not fail. Because once you succeed, now it's a game changer. Changes the way that everybody sees you, changes the way that everybody relates to you. You have to think about it. When you succeed, then everybody looks at you differently. Failure might change some opinions. It might but you know what happens when you fail? The expectations actually lower of you, don't they? You don't feel that kind of like, no one's expecting me to produce at this level. Nobody's expecting me to make this kind of money. Nobody's expecting me to be able to do these kinds of things. So low expectations, even when you have the skill and the ability to do it, actually feels pretty good. There's no pressure there. But as soon as you succeed, then people are kind of like, the way that we'll reason it is we're like, well, everybody expects this of me all the time. I'm not sure I want to be responsible for doing this all the time. I'm not sure that I want to let people know how good I actually am, because now it's going to have a layer of expectation for me in my life going on. Up to 70% of high performers experience fear of success at some point. And again, this isn't about capability, it's about capacity. It's about the fact that people like to stay in their comfort zone, and they like to have what they feel like are reasonable expectations. Now, I want to give you a side by side of what are the differences between fear of failure and fear of success, because I know some of you are kind of your brain's still going to fear of failure. And let me show you what the difference of that is. Fear of failure is this whole question that plagues, like that keeps somebody from going all in. Sometimes people are like, I don't want to go all in because what if I find out I'm not actually good enough? What if I find out, and they would rather not know, and so they'll kind of withhold, so they don't, so they won't apply themselves, and that will keep them. So that way, if they fail, they have a great argument, for why they failed. Maybe they weren't, they don't have to deal with that. But see, fear of success is a little bit different. Fear of success is, what if I actually am good enough and it suddenly changes everything? Because, like we said before, it is going to change everything. It's going to change your relationships. It's going to change your work dynamics. It's going to change a lot of different parts of your life, especially if you succeed and you get to a new level. You get to a new level. You know what happens when you start making more money? You also pay more taxes. You know what happens? And so you got to get creative there. You know what happens when you start a business? Now there's all these other levels of responsibility that are out there. Now there's a lot of different things that actually come with success. Fear of failure stops people from starting, but fear of success stops people from finishing. Fear of failure is when you are driven by self doubt, but fear of success is when you're actually driven by fear of your life being disrupted. Fear of, now I'm exposed for how great I am or how good I am at something. And now there's this enormous pressure because now, like if I was great over here, people are going to expect, am I going to be great all the time? Am I going to be on all the time? Fear of failure is fear of judgment for not achieving. But there's a lot of people who have fear of success because they actually fear judgment after achieving. What happens to the dynamics in your relationship when you are that good, when you do succeed? I've seen that happen in people's lives. I mean, it's a real thing. Once they hit a certain level and they had to leave some relationships behind, we all know, and we're actually familiar with those things, that when you succeed and you move on, and that means that you don't always, and it's not that there's a judgment in your heart, but sometimes that does change the way that people perceive you. It might actually incur some level of criticism, possibly. It could actually go amazing. I mean, the reality is, in both of these things that are absolutely that we're absolutely certain about, is all of this is perception of reality, and perception and trying to project on what you think the future may hold, and your fear of what the future may hold actually keeps you stuck. But what if you actually were amazing? What if you actually did come into your potential and you could maintain it? What if you could come into your potential? What if you could come into fullness in your life and it not stress you out, but actually gives you extraordinary joy? What happens if, when you break into that next level of life, that you don't leave people behind, you actually bring them with you? What if you could actually be through and through, like completely honest, living integrous, knowing that I always did to the best of my ability, and that I succeeded, and that I surprised other people, and I surprised myself? See, these are the kinds of things that we could be projecting, because again, all of this is just fear. It's all projection of what possibly could be. But until we actually step into that reality, we don't really know. What if you stepped into some things, and instead of thinking that your family was going to pay the price, that they were going to get less of you or anything else, what if they actually got more of you? That's what was true of me once I went full time into coaching. Now, up to then, and I'll give you just a little bit of a snapshot of how I broke into coaching. Some of you know that in 2008 we lost everything, and back then I was working a full time job, and I'd been successful in leadership. But the reality is that job was working me 6 days a week. I mean, I could never really totally put it down. And my wife was very ill; she had almost died. And so back then, my wife was so sick she couldn't get off the couch until about 2 o'clock, until her medication kicked in. We had two small kids. There was a lot that was going on, and so I'm juggling a lot. And so I ended up in 2008, I got laid off. And that had never happened to me in my life. But I remember when I got laid off, there were some decisions that I'd made in that life that I was never going to. My family was never going to be a second priority in terms of my time. I was going to be there, and they were going to be the primary. They were going to get primary attention regardless of what it cost me. And the second thing was is that we were never going to do life the same way. Those are things that I knew. And so I got a regular job, but it wasn't paying me the income. It took me a while because there was hardly any jobs. So I get this job that's making a fraction of even what I was making before. So I'm barely making it. But at the same time, I had this heart you know, to change the world and to help people get breakthrough and to do some of the things that I was doing previously, but applied in a different way. And that's when I got trained and certified as a coach, and a lot of different things started happening. But the cool thing was is that I was able to manage life because it's like, hey, when you're making an extra $100 an hour here, $150 an hour, it's like it's easy to get really, really comfortable because I can do that a couple of days out of the week. But my regular job was only making less than $30 an hour, which sounds great depending on what state you're in, not in California. So we were barely making it. And then when I started coaching, then all of a sudden we had leg room. We actually had breathing room and everything else. And I could have been satisfied in that, except I knew that I'm actually withholding from my family. See, that was that dividing point. I remember having this conversation with a mentor of mine, and I said, how do you know the line between faith and risk? I don't want my family hurting because, like, we just lost everything a couple of years before. And it was an important discussion that it was like, to go after this thing, is this going to hurt my family? I don't know that I can be successful. There's all this here, but I also know that I can't really provide for my family and be generous to my kids and a lot of other things if I don't actually make a step towards this. And as soon as I made the step, and it took me a while, it took me some months to get up the nerve and everything else, but when I did, it was amazing how all of a sudden I replace that income, because 60K didn't sound like an easy income to replace on top of what I was making. But when that happened, I've never worked a 40-hour work week since then. And so my family has actually gotten more of me. Not only has it been rewarding to live in the thing that I'm most passionate about and seeing people get breakthrough and transform lives, like I can actually spend time with my children. And I have for years. Not only be generous to them, but I actually have the time to do that. You know, that today is the first time that I ever watched the movie Tangled. Now, it's not that I don't watch movies. It's like I usually couldn't stay awake. At least in a past life, I could never stay awake during a movie, so I would miss all these things. So there's this old movie that my daughter rented last night, and I was like, I never saw this movie, and when my daughter was telling me about it, and I was like, oh, it sounds like a good movie actually, and she's like, well, I'll watch it again. And so I sat there and watched a Disney movie with my daughter just a few hours ago. That's such a great movie. Like if you've never seen that movie, it's such a great movie. But it was like, in a past life, I wouldn't have even been home during that time. Matter of fact, I would probably be getting home about right now and tired and hungry and trying to get the kids bathed and everything else, and they wouldn't get much of me. That's why I didn't know fear kept me in a position for a while. But actually, on that other end, I learned that I actually have more time. I'm the boss. Now, I don't have a job where somebody's going to pay me every day. I go out and do my own thing, but I also set my own schedule. And I've gotten to be able to do that for many years now. So this is what could actually be ahead of us. So what we want to do in this is that we really want to start with ourselves. And I want to give you a few questions that you can ask yourself, but that you can also share with some of the people around you. Where in your business or life do you consistently pause right before the breakthrough? If you can answer that, you can start finding what kind of a pattern and what kind of a trigger that you actually have. Because there's going to be certain things that drive you, motivate you, shut you down, and all those other things that might be a little bit different from me. I had a lot of things going on. I had a lot of trauma from losing everything, that I wanted to be responsible as a man, as a husband. I was the only income. We had two small kids. I mean, it got so bad when I was laid off that we actually had to put all our stuff in storage and move in with some people and get food from food banks. That's a lot to deal with, to think, oh well, now I'm going to be make some big steps and everything else. So there was a lot of different things. There was opinions of people, there was opinions of family, there was the fact that I'd never actually went out and done my own thing before. I'd always been kind of a good number two or a number three in a safe position where I could be featured and do some good stuff, but at the end of the day my head wasn't really on a chopping block. See, there was a lot of different kinds of motivations that were going on there. And what you'll find in some of these questions is that you're going to find your own in that. Which self-handicapping strategy do you use most often, and what is it protecting you from? What are the things that you know that you do that kind of gives you an alibi of why you didn't really give your best? And you probably don't communicate this to anybody. You secretly know when you don't apply yourself, and that you know that you're actually, it's kind of this line, it's that line in the sand that I'm going to go about this far and I'm going to be this great, but I'm not going to be as great as I could be. What is the strategy that you actually use to do that? What do you subconsciously believe success will cost you? Because this is a really big one. If you believe that at the end you're going to be worse off because you have success, then you're never going to do anything. So it's really important for you to really get tangible about, for you, what do you think that success costs? Now, there's some people who like to make videos and everything else, and they like to say scary stuff about, like, oh, this is going to cost you everything, and you got to work 80 hours a week. I've never worked 80 hours a week. But I mean, it's just kind of the business that we are in. But they got these people who like to say all the scary stuff and everything else. And I was talking to my kids, and there was somebody that I was talking to the other day that, they're trying to get some business stuff started up and some other things. And I'm like, you are in like the greatest time in the world to start a business. I ran into a guy doing Instacart the other day, and he was walking around Costco and he's trying to figure out stuff. And I'm like, dude, what a great time that you can literally sit on your phone, not really deal with other human beings, and you can go shop for someone and just leave it on their doorstep and and get other things done, and you have the rest of your day, or you can take as many orders as you want. Or like, what an incredible day and time that we have, that literally you can find your clients and your customers or whatever on a cell phone. Like, it's unheard of the days when people would have to work an entire generation of their family and have their kids working in a business to finally succeed one day. We're not in those days anymore. You've got to think about, what does success actually reward you for to get you out of the costs that you think are so high? And how does this show up? Think about your friends, because you know that this is true for some of your friends. And it's not to be judgmental, but think about how this shows up for your friends. Think about how this is how your um, family, this shows up in their life. Think about how this shows up in your clients. And since this is the intro of it, what we're going to do over the next few weeks is I'm going to give you tools, and we're going to look at some specific self-handicapping things that people do. And what I'm going to help you do is identify those things for your clients. And then we're going to have a strategy to help them overcome those areas. Hey, if you want the slides and you have not gotten them yet, you need to text the word slides to 833-258-7547. Only the word slides. Don't say give me the slides. Just text the word slides to 833-258-7547. This is going to be a game changer over the next few weeks for you guys. Now, for those of you who have not gotten trained and certified, best thing that I can offer you is actually our Jumpstart program. Now, our Jumpstart program includes our self-paced course, as well as an A to Z business development roadmap that takes you from brainstorming all the way up to launch in your business. Now, there's a few courses that are our feature courses that are actually part of the Jumpstart program. Brand Camp is our 13-hour step-by-step on marketing messaging. We show you everything from how to develop your website, what do you need to include in it, what makes a high-converting website, what are the things that you put on a website that get people to actually click, give you their information, or even buy something. So we show you everything from lead magnets to opt-ins for things, to where do you structure everything in your website, what color schemes work, how does that actually hit the brain. We also show you how to write sales pages. We show you how to write emails. We show you how to create an email list that actually gets a very high open rate. Our coaches who are doing email marketing, because that's much easier than doing social media stuff. Email marketing, we're showing our coaches how to get open rates of 60, 70, even 80%. All of this is actually included. Even that one video that I show you how to optimize your website for search engines, that alone is worth thousands of dollars by itself. I show you the tricks and everything that you put together inside of a website to get it to rank higher on search engines and for people to be able to find you locally. I'm also a really, really big proponent on creating multiple streams of income. It's not just simply about one-on-one clients, guys. There are multiple ways that you can actually serve many clients, not just one-on-ones, but people who do one-on-one coaching. They level out their business in terms of income as well as the number of people that they can serve. In this course, I bring you from brainstorming all the way to launch, and you can use this blueprint for your business launch, for a group coaching program, to develop an online course, a webinar, a workshop, a retreat. All of those things can actually be done. And there's tons of tools in this particular course. It's about 10 hours worth of content as far as that's concerned. Jumpstart includes all of these different things. The price is only $97 a month. Anybody else is going to charge you about 10 grand minimum for this particular program. You get trained, certified, and get all the business development help for only $3.25 a day. We have never raised the prices on our self-paced program or Jumpstart. We've been charging the same thing for 10 years, almost 11 years now. And so this is doable. You won't find any business that you can create a six-figure business that allows you to like invest this small amount and get all of the help that you need. It's $97 a month with a 3-month minimum commitment. You can cancel after that, or you can keep joining us. Oh, and here's another thing. Not only do you get all of these things that I described, but Jumpstart also includes Tuesday night coach training, which is all about coaching skill. Wednesday night group coaching call that's led by Joan. She's one of our associate coach trainers. And you can get anything that you are working on, get feedback on it so that you're not making mistakes when you go out there and launch it. Genius people who want to come alongside you and support you so that you've got all the training that you need to be competent. You have all of the business steps so that you can be successful, and also that you have the mentoring and the other coaches who are part of the program to hold you accountable and to cheerlead for you. There's nothing like this, particularly at this price point. The link is inside the description of this video. If you would like to join, it'll take you about 90 seconds to be able to do that. Let me say hello to a couple of people. Joan from Bakersfield. Marico from Richmond. Good to see you. Kathy says another great Mentor Monday. Liz said $97 a month is a great price. It is. And if you guys have priced anything in coaching, you know everything costs thousands of dollars. If you think even in the farthest reaches of your mind that we don't have great stuff, just go look at the reviews on our website, get enrolled in our free course, and you can find out what it's about. I mean, this is a freebie on a Monday night, so it should give you an idea. If we're willing to help you on a freebie, you can only imagine what you get access to, and the fact that you can get support and a group of people who are cheerleading you and all of those other things. So join us. And Kathy says, Joan is amazing. Joan is amazing. She's incredible. All right, everybody. Well, listen, we're going to roll this thing back and put this on replay for the people who are in late. You can always just pull the thing back, or you can watch on, the live stream that's going to come back on. But listen, I appreciate you guys all immensely. Get enrolled, and I will see you at Tuesday night training tomorrow night. And yeah, let's do that. All right. I'm going to shut up and get out of here. Have a great one, you guys. Take care.